All right. What is up, everybody? Slummy here, and I finally got a little taste of Anthem, about 25 to 30 hours worth of a taste. So I'm ready to give you everyone my thoughts in terms of like recommending buying or waiting. I'm gonna leave that all up to you. I'm just gonna tell you the things I like about the game, the things I disliked about the game. Also, I'm gonna cover some glitches, but before I get started, please post something in the comment below. Let me know what you think of Anthem if you played it. If you haven't played it, are you going to buy it tomorrow, or are you going to wait just to kind of see where the game goes after a couple months? Because there are a couple of red flags which I will touch on in the video. And just as a heads up, this is not going to be any type of bashing on the game. I'm not going to fucking flip my lid over something. And this is also not going to be like ball fluff to EA. So yeah, I'm not going to be, sucking off the game. I'm just literally going to give you my thoughts on how I feel about the game so far. And to be honest with you, jumping right into it, I am really enjoying the game right now. I'm having a lot of fun exploring the world. I'm having a lot of fun doing the story missions. I think the graphics are great. There are some issues with pop-ins when you're flying around, but I know there's going to be a big patch on the release date. Hopefully that'll fix some of those issues, but the graphics are gorgeous. The environment's gorgeous. I love how the level is not flat. Like, the level has multiple tiers to it. It's not just this flat, empty world. It's teeming with life. There's a lot of world events going on. To be honest with you, the story, too, is really engaging me to play more. I wouldn't say this is like some Oscar-winning, Pulitzer Prize-winning type story, but there's been a lot of issues with the stories on online games lately, and I am actually pretty satisfied with this story. I find myself completing a story mission, and I instantly want to go do the next mission to see how the story progresses. I'm not going to give any spoilers. I'm just going to leave it at that. But it is really engaging to me. Talking to the people in your hub world adds to the lore. Just really kind of sucks you into the game, which is something I haven't felt since The Elder Scrolls Online, to be 100% honest with you. So it is a breath of fresh air to have a pretty decent story to this game. Also, I'm just having fun with the combat in general. Like, the shooting is not top tier 8+, but the shooting is done very well for a third-person shooter. I am absolutely loving the sound. Like, when I pop on my headphones, like, it sounds like I'm in an all-out war. The gunfire sounds amazing. The explosions sound great. Even flying through the world, like your jetpack, or your javelin suit, sounds really well done. So to whoever those sound guys were, like, they did a fucking awesome job, because I think the sound is fantastic. Which brings me to the one glitch that I had, because I love the sound so much, but there is a little bug where your sound will cut out completely. I haven't had that happen since I kind of messed around with my sound options, so I might do a YouTube video showing you how I fixed it. But for the most part, yeah, there's been times where the music and the sound will instantly just cut out, and I'm playing like a muted game, which is never any fun. I did a stronghold a couple times, and I did really enjoy that. I'm kind of disappointed that there's only 3 of them, but I know there's like difficulty settings to kind of amp up the challenge. But I like to have new scenery when doing the strongholds, and new like mission objectives and things like that. But for the most part, I'm having a lot of fun. I know the loot is the huge selling point of the game, and the loot feels very satisfying. I'm constantly getting additional loot where I want to add to my character or try out an ability, try out different combinations. And it seems like, since I'm not at max level, obviously, the loot is constantly progressing my character, and I don't feel like I'm ever at a standstill. In terms of gathering things and getting the loot, like, the game does everything right. It has all the bells and whistles. There's constantly medals popping on your screen, and there's constantly little objectives like kill 150 creatures out in the world. Like, there's constantly things flashing in your screen that you kind of work towards in terms of achievements in the game. Also, when you get loot, makes these high chinging noises. Even when you go and get resource materials and you do a note or whatever, gives you like these little chings and little sparkles. So the game does everything to kind of draw you in and kind of feed on that, addiction part, where it's like, it's keeping you engaged, I think is the word I'm looking for. Not to mention, the world is pretty big. It's really fun to explore. I tend to notice I get lost a lot. where I end up going into a circle where I think I'm going one way, and the next thing you know, I'm back to the starting point, and I'm just like, what the fuck? But, you know, I don't really pay too much attention right now where I'm going. I'm just really trying to enjoy the environment and see what's out into the world and do world events and things like that. Also, I feel like, you know, again, the flying is done very well. I know this is a big aspect of the game in terms of traveling. And although the flight controls took me a little bit to get used to in terms of like looking and controlling my person, now that I got accustomed to it, I think it's done very well. It does get a little bit getting used to if you're, you know, not good at flying in games, but you'll eventually get there, and it is very satisfying. And I love the fact that the classes are very unique. The Javelin suits are very unique from each other, so it's not like you're playing something that's kind of similar to something else. If you're going to be a tanky build, you know, you'll notice it. If you're going to be like a storm DPS type thing, you're really going to notice it. So it really separates the builds out, and you really have the freedom to kind of make them your own. I'm still messing around with other Javelin suits, and the leveling up is not tedious at all. You know, like I said, the world is engaging enough to where you kind of get lost in it. You don't really pay attention to leveling. But it doesn't seem like it's a total crawl or a total grind. I think the leveling is done very well in this game, and it feels like you are progressing at a pretty decent rate. Also, the hot topic with the microtransactions and the coins in the game and the shards. I think the coins are, you know, everyone's going to torch me for this, but I think the coins are given at a pretty good rate. I don't feel like I'm forced to pay money into the store and buy things. I will not pay money into the store and buy things. So I obviously this is still the beta, so we'll see what happens when the game is officially released on the 22nd. But right now I don't feel like getting coins to make cosmetic purchases that I want are going to be that big of an issue. So right now I would not say the monetization is horrible. I would say it's pretty balanced right now, but again, we'd have to wait till the official release date of the game to really determine and see like what they're going to be charging for things. But for the most part, I don't think that's an issue at all. Now, the bad and what really worries me. So some of the bad things, obviously I mentioned the audio bug where it would completely mute me out. I think the menu itself is terrible. Like, it takes a little bit getting used to navigate through everything. I think they could have done a little tutorial to at least help the beginning players navigate through this menu. Like, in the beginning, I was getting so frustrated with it, I didn't even want to open it. It's like, I would do a mission and I would dismantle the gear I didn't want when you get to view the gear that you got from that mission. So I mean, I try to avoid that menu at all costs. Now I'm getting used to it, or now I'm used to it, but in the beginning, I mean, it's terrible to navigate through everything. It's just this tab, then click this tab, then hit this tab. I mean, it's terrible. Another thing I didn't like is the hub world itself. Although there's a lot of NPCs and there's a lot of people to talk to, for one, there's no tutorial to navigate, so you're kind of blind walking everywhere. The story mission does kind of take you to certain points in the hub world, Fort Terrace I'm talking about, but for the most part, it's like blind navigation, and you could see where things are when you open your map. Like, you could hover over it with your mouse or your pointer or whatever. It'll tell you like the contract areas where to go to, but for the most part, I think that kind of ruins the engagement when you have to open your map to try to figure out where to go. I think navigating the player through the hub world and see what everything does, I think would have done a better job. Plus, it's just the hub world seems dead. There's a ton of NPCs, a ton of things going on, but at the same time, it feels like you're alone and it's dead. There's no music, nothing. And I know people playing the game, I know you know what I'm talking about. It's like, it's weird, right? Because there's a ton of NPCs, but it's just dead. I think the hub world would have been better if there was other players that were walking around with you. Just kind of like, how the Destiny does with the tower and things like that. Another thing, and what I'm really worried about in this game, is I noticed the missions itself, even the world events, are very similar. Actually, they're identical. It all requires you to fly to a certain point, clear out a bunch of enemies, gather a matrix or a relic, put the matrix or the relic somewhere, and then fly to the next area, rinse and repeat. Or you scan a dead freelancer, or you scan something, and you got to sit in this green circle and basically kill off a mob of enemies until the scan is done, move somewhere else, scan something else. This worries me about the end game because I don't want it to turn into like what I call the Destiny loop, where it's you have this whole vast area to explore, but all the events and all the missions are identical. Like even the contracts are all exactly the same. It's fly here, collect this, put it here, and then at the end of the contract you'll get the whole, oh, while you're out there we have a boss enemy to kill, and then you fly to that area, kill the boss, and then I mean it's literally that happens every single contract. Oh, while you're out there. And this is my biggest problem with Destiny, is doing the same thing over and over again when you have this whole world that you could add things to do. And I feel like Anthem is doing the exact same thing, and this worries me about the end game because eventually you're gonna get sick of it. Like, you're not gonna want to do the same thing over and over and over again. The strongholds, I did have a lot of fun, but again, there's only 3, and you could beef up the difficulty setting, but I think this game should have released with at least 6 or 7, so it gave players more to do. I think the lack of strongholds and the fact that all the events in the world are almost, it falls into one of 4 types of gameplay, is really going to hurt the end game. And I think players are even starting to notice it now. But a month from now, like, players are really going to start to notice. And this is going to become a very big issue and a very big complaining point amongst a lot of players. And I think a lot of the player base is going to leave until they come up with an update. So my thoughts on the game right now is, let me touch on glitches really quick because I know there's a ton of videos out there with these glitches. I've only, out of 30 hours, I've only suffered server disconnects twice. Once it actually put me back into the main menu, and then once it kind of, the game froze for a little bit for a server disconnect while I was doing a world event, and then it just kind of unfroze and I was able to start playing. So the server disconnect, I know it's out there and I know it's a problem for a lot of people. I personally have not had any issues with it. Also, the invisible enemies shooting people and killing you, I haven't experienced this at all. Even in free roam, I have not had invisible gunfire kill me or even hurt me. But I know this is a glitch out there because I've seen the YouTube videos where people are dying and there's not an enemy in sight. I just want you to know that that has not happened to me. So, you know, I can't really put that as a negative right now. Even the server disconnect's not a big deal to me. I played Fallout 76 when that released, and that was a big deal. So 2 times in 30 hours. Although I don't like it, it's not too bad. So all in all, I'm really enjoying the game right now. I think a year from now, I think this game is going to be awesome. I think once they get player feedback, once people start complaining about the repetitive endgame, I really think this game has so much potential. And currently, I am having a lot of fun playing it right now. But again, if they don't have a constant flow of adding things, the endgame is going to get really old. But that's just my thoughts on the matter. Let me know your thoughts. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I will start doing some Anthem videos on builds and secret locations and things like that as I come across it. You know, again, I'm only 30 hours in, so trying to even make it to that end game. But again, let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for tuning into the video. Everybody have a great day, great week, great month. Slummy is out.